I make over $40,000 a day running ads on Meta, and this is when I think you should hire a media buyer to run ads for you. And after we do that, I'm actually gonna take you inside of my ad account and show you a little bit about how I run the account and run the ads so that you can see some of the same success. And the reason I make this video is because Meta ads is the most important thing to an e-commerce business in terms of sales. It's the biggest lever you can pull. It's where you make the most amount of money, by far more than any platform. When to hire a media buyer? First of all, a media buyer is somebody who runs ads for a living, just in case you didn't know. Okay, there's plenty of those people. There's also agencies that claim to do it. I spend about $15,000 to $20,000 a day right now and run my own ads. Okay, this is on one ad account. I've actually gone through 2 different media buyers on this account. I will explain that momentarily. But today I'm gonna give you some very good advice on Meta ads. It's fresh, it's relevant, so even if you're not at the point where you're trying to hire somebody, like I promise you're gonna get some good golden nuggets out of this. And again, we're gonna go through my ad strategy and how I structure the account at the end. Now, the cold hard truth that most people don't wanna hear when they're running an e-commerce business is you can't get a media buyer right now. Because this is the truth, I promise you. A good media buyer is expensive and hard to find. And they will not be available for you if you're spending $1,000 a day on your account, which might sound like a lot to some people, might sound like not a lot to others. But if you're spending $1,000 a day, which means things are working, that's great, that's a big thumbs up, but there's just not enough money moving for you to hire a quality media buyer. So whoever you find to do that is not going to be good, and probably 99% of the time is not going to end up staying with the company. What I mentioned with, I've gone through 2 media buyers on this. The first guy just said he's too busy and had too many other clients. So he obviously wasn't dedicated on ours. Fine, he's a freelancer, most are. But the second guy ran the account into the ground to the point where I was losing over $1,000 a day for 2 weeks straight and then quit. Most media buyers are lazy people. They don't actually want to do the work. So we're going to cover how to fix that, how to make sure you have success with them, and overall just how to do this. So here's how most people usually go about like automating their Meta ads, their Facebook ads, right? From day one, they try to hire some agency to do it. That's not gonna work. If you have no sales, you're not running ads, you created a Shopify store or whatever for your brand, and you want somebody to start your ads, good luck, okay? I promise you it's just not gonna work. Unless you're already a big established brand crushing elsewhere with credibility and influencers, it's not gonna happen. And the second thing people do is they get things going, a few $100s a day in spend, maybe they're spending 1,000 days, so it's kind of working, and they pass it off to an agency or a media buyer. I have a big problem with most agencies, to be honest, that run ads. I don't think it's a great structure. You pass off to a media buyer. And the reason I use air quotes there is because, again, no real media buyer is gonna touch an account that small. That's how most people usually do it, okay? Now, what does a good media buyer do? And by the way, you're gonna be your own media buyer in the beginning. So this is what you should do. This is what I do right now. You're accountable for the performance. It's your fault. It's not Zuck's fault, Meta's fault, some other, take ownership for it. Number 2, you handle the ad creative briefs and working with an editor to get them. Okay, maybe you're the one also making your own videos or editing images and using AI to make images. You can totally do that. But a good media buyer is in charge of that. And if there is somebody who's editing and putting it together, they're creating briefs, finding examples, going back and forth to them and helping craft those because that's super important. Number 3, they're launching new creatives regularly. This is the lifeblood of being a media buyer. Number 4, they measure performance of the top ad creatives and they provide that feedback to whoever's making them. If it's you, great, make more of the things that are working. Or at least give that feedback and the information on which videos or which images are working. You gotta be able to give that to whoever's making it, okay? So you can get more winners. Number 5, they provide detailed feedback on any and all rejected ads. You do not want a lot of rejected ads in your account. That's a very, very negative thing actually on the account. And it will overall cause your performance to go down. I promise you that. We'll cover the ad account in a second. But you don't want rejected ad, rejected ad, rejected. The more you do that, you're gonna get deranked. It's not good. And then finally, they understand Meta's rules around violations and policy. Most media buyers don't, even if they have experience, okay? A media buyer should never be hired to be your supplement media buyer. For an example, a regular media buyer is not qualified to run ads in the adult industry or the supplement industry with weight loss because they will get banned. I promise you, 9 times out of 10 because they don't know the terminology and what you can and can't do. It's very different for industries. So you have to be careful with hiring a media buyer. Again, that's why it's better once you have a lot of money flowing through with it. So here's how we compensate media buyers. I'm just gonna hit on this really fast before we get into some other stuff here. When you wanna bring a media buyer onto your team, it's very important that this be a performance-based role. Look, let me just show you this inside this ad account. We'll hit on this more in a second. Take a look at this month so far. The month's not over, it's the 26th or 27th. This ad account has spent a little over $200,000, okay? Now I could give somebody a salary to come in here and run this. What incentive do they have to actually get good performance, right? It's kind of like a salesperson. Maybe there could be some sort of base, but it needs to be pretty heavy on the performance side relating to something to do with how much money they're making you and how much you're spending. A lot of agencies will take a percentage of how much they spend, but then they just want to spend a lot, right? So that's not necessarily good. So one thing you could do that I've seen a lot of success with is actually a hybrid structure where they get a percentage of spend on days above a certain ROAS. And this is awesome. So at the end of the month, I'll go back through, we'll click through every single day. Okay, on the 20th, was it above the target of 1.6 for example? Okay, yes, it was. So we'll add that spend up. On the 21st, oh, no, it wasn't, right? We'll go through, we'll add it up. We'll have a very reasonable metric for them to hit, and they can get a percentage of the spend for every single day above that performance metric. And that I have found to be very good. It obviously gets demotivating when they're in a slump and the ad account's not doing well or they're not doing well. It's their fault at the end of the day for weeks in a row. So that's why a base salary is not a bad idea. But this is really important to making sure that you are successful with a media buyer, because at the end of the day, you do not want to be stuck in your ad account. I right now am running these ads, and yeah, I turned it around. I'm performing better than both those media buyers ever were, and I'll show you a little bit about that in a second. But at the end of the day, like, I can't be the one in here running this and continuing to scale it. I'm trying to steer the ship, run the business, handle inventory, 3 different sales channels, hiring team members. We're gonna have to get like quality employees on here soon. We're trying to launch new products, do research and design around that. That's way more important for the business than me being the one running the ads. I'd rather have somebody do it who's a little less efficient and gets a little worse results, but it's not on my plate. Now, here's how you play a big role in the success of your media buyer. I think it's so crucial for every business owner to hear this, because most just screw this up, and it's kind of your fault that they failed. Constantly providing new ad creatives, whether it's you or someone on your team, doesn't matter. This is the lifeblood of running ads on any platform, period. A great product. No expert media buyer can overcome that. If you have a horrible product, it's just gonna be difficult, right? You're just swimming upstream. Great customer experience, okay? If people do not have a good customer experience with your product, they have a horrible experience, they're gonna leave bad comments. That makes the media buyer's job more difficult. This includes customer support, having good customer support. You gotta make sure the business is solid, because there can be a lot of these things working against the media buyer and then you blame them, when in reality, it's not all their fault. You also have to be willing to, in my opinion, get them any education they want relating to their role. We kind of have an open budget policy. Now, I'm not gonna let you buy unlimited $20,000 courses, but unlimited books for sure. If you really wanna buy a course for $1,000, we'll take care of it. You know, if they're spending a lot, we have an ad account. Like if I put somebody in here that's spending $250,000 a month, they've been doing good for the last 2-3 months, and they want to buy this thing for $4,000 that they think is going to help them, go for it. We'll pay for it. No problem. That's a reinvestment into your team. And again, that should be done kind of based on how long they've been there and are they doing well. Now let me walk you through my ad account structure. Hopefully this is helpful, by the way. Just do want to shout out real quick. My company has been running for about 7 years in the consulting space. We help people do all this stuff, building brands, running on TikTok Shop, on Amazon, on Shopify, running Facebook ads, working with influencers, and that's how we're crushing it. We're hitting $1 million months in the supplement space. This is how. We have a couple different resources down below. A small, super cheap school group, great spot for beginners to get their feet wet. We have a coaching group. Applications open up for that every month or two. You can check it out down below. And something where we help you build a supplement brand in the US with manufacturing here if you have a lot more money for inventory. So check that out. Here's how I have this ad account structured right now. Consolidation is the focus. Back in the day, and even 6 months ago, I had a ton of campaigns running. There was all sorts of stuff running. To have 15 different campaigns live, I want to consolidate that and move it into less. And I want to move that into CBOs. So as you can see the budget inside of here, we have daily budgets here at the campaign level. So that is called a CBO, campaign budget optimization. Okay, ignore these rejected ads. And that's just consolidated, so we can really put the ball in Meta's corner so they can be the one to determine what happens with the budget. It's been a lot better. So here's the structure of the CBOs. I have one ad creative testing CBO. This is testing new videos that we constantly are dropping in there every few days. Number 2, I have a scaling one. So we take what works, I duplicate it into another CBO, right? I also have an ad budget optimization. So this is an ABO. It's not at the campaign level. You'll see this. We have one inside of here using ad set. It's pretty low level, to be honest. I'm not doing much with it, but just for some random testing. I also have separate funnel testing for winners. So if I have a bunch of new winning videos, I like to test different landing pages for the same product. We build different funnels. This is something you'll probably do later. And so I put that into a separate CBO. And I also put some static image ad testing inside of there as well, just to make sure we can keep up with spend and have a lot of stuff in there for it to test. I also currently have an ASC campaign that was recommended by our Facebook rep. Again, smaller stuff. I have a new product campaign. You'll see that up here, you know, $400 a day just for a new product that we're testing out. So some of this stuff inside of here, I don't even have a retargeting setup. That'll be soon to be, but it's been low on the priority list. Our frequency score, for anybody curious who knows ads, is high anyways. They're seeing it 6-7 times so in 30 days. So perfectly fine. Meta does a great job of all of that. So we try to put the ball in Meta's court and let them play around with things. We feed them a lot of ad creatives, some new landers, and we really let it test. Okay, so that's how this ad account is structured currently. Let me just show you some of these days here. Yesterday, for an example, spent $14,000, okay? The store yesterday made $41,000. We're obviously also on Amazon. We do really well over there. We're on TikTok Shop. This is one product really that's being driven off here. One product, okay? And in the supplement space, it's very expensive to acquire a customer. So honestly, the fact that we're playing in the ballpark kind of at scale around a 2 ROAS is very exciting to me because that's vastly outperforming everybody I know who's in the supplement space, everybody. And so I've worked really hard myself on building a team, a video editor, static image guy, and then running the ads myself. Eventually I will hand that off, but it's important to make sure that you understand the business, you have a grasp on it so that you're not in control of some media buyer and you don't really know what they're doing. You can't actually go in and double check things. It's very valuable to learn this skill so that you can keep an eye on things and help suggest stuff, make sure they're actually doing their job because again, most media buyers are lazy. I hope this video helped. Even if you're not, again, at a point where you're spending probably 3,000 plus a day is where you could maybe start to consider a media buyer if you really want to get it off your plate. Even if you're not there, take this as inspiration. There were some good golden nuggets inside of here. And if you want more help, you want to really see exactly what we're doing, check out the resources down below from my consulting company. We help people. You can definitely join our group. We have strong guarantees inside of there. We'll keep working with you for free if you haven't hit certain metrics. With the supplement side, we'll buy your inventory back from you if it's not working. We do things a little bit differently because I don't just teach. I actually do it. My coaching group, for an example, saw me grow this brand from $0 to $1 million a month in the last 15 months. They saw the whole thing. They know the products, the ads, the store, all of it. I'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.